The funeral service of Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist and founder of Turning Point USA, was marked by an atmosphere of profound grief, sorrow, and reflection. Among the most heartbreaking moments came when his mother collapsed at his graveside, overcome with anguish and crying out, "Bring my son back." The incident highlighted not only the depth of her pain, but also the magnitude of loss felt by his entire family and community. Charlie Kirk was born on October 14th, 1993, in Arlington Heights, Illinois. He grew up in a middle-class family that instilled in him a deep sense of responsibility and values. Raised in Wheeling, Illinois, he attended Wheeling High School, where he was active in community activities and demonstrated a strong interest in leadership and current events. His early life was marked by ambition and a willingness to challenge conventional ideas. From a young age, Kirk showed signs of being outspoken. At just 18 years old in 2012, he founded Turning Point USA, an organization dedicated to promoting conservative values among young Americans. This bold move was a clear reflection of his passion for politics and his determination to create change. By 2015, the organization had expanded nationwide, establishing chapters at hundreds of colleges and high schools. His ability to connect with young audiences set him apart as a unique voice in American politics. Through Turning Point USA, Kirk became known for his emphasis on free market principles, limited government, and traditional values. His speeches and debates attracted both admiration and criticism, but they consistently drew attention. Kirk's sharp style and unapologetic tone gained him a large following on social media platforms, where he often engaged in discussions on pressing national issues. His influence grew rapidly, making him a central figure in shaping youth conservatism in America. In addition to his activism, Kirk became an author. His books, including Campus Battlefield and the MAGA Doctrine, outlined his political philosophy and vision for the country. These works were widely read among conservatives and further elevated his position as a thought leader. He also became a regular speaker at major political events, often sharing the stage with influential national figures. Behind the public persona, however, was a young man devoted to his family. Charlie Kirk often acknowledged the support of his parents and spoke warmly of their guidance. His close relationship with his mother was especially noted by those who knew him personally. She had been a steady source of encouragement throughout his journey, standing by him through both triumphs and controversies. When news of Charlie Kirk's sudden passing broke, the reaction was immediate and widespread. Supporters, political allies, and even critics expressed shock and offered condolences. At just 31 years old, his death was not only unexpected but also deeply tragic. The official announcement confirmed that Kirk had passed away following an emergency medical incident, though further details were not disclosed publicly. The funeral service took place shortly thereafter, drawing a large crowd of family members, friends, colleagues, and supporters. Tributes were shared that highlighted his contributions to political discourse and his tireless efforts to build a movement. Many described him as a visionary leader who had given his life to a cause he believed in passionately. But the most emotional moments of the day came not from speeches or tributes, but from the raw grief of his family. His mother, who had supported him since childhood, found the pain unbearable. As the casket was lowered and final prayers were offered, she collapsed near the grave, crying uncontrollably. Witnesses recounted how she clutched at the earth, repeatedly saying, "Bring my son back." The words pierced the silence, leaving many in tears. For those present, the moment underscored the difference between public achievements and personal loss. Charlie Kirk had been a public figure, admired and followed by millions. But at the heart of it all, he had been a son. His mother's grief was a reminder that behind the headlines and speeches, there was a family left devastated by his absence. As the funeral concluded, family members gathered together, leaning on one another for support. Kirk's father stood silently, holding his wife as she wept. His siblings and close relatives joined in prayer, reflecting on the life of a young man who had touched so many yet departed far too soon. Tributes continued to pour in long after the funeral. Supporters took to social media to express their sorrow, sharing clips of his speeches, quotes from his books, and personal stories of how his work had inspired them. Political leaders also offered condolences, acknowledging the impact Kirk had made in a short span of time. His passing was described as not only a loss to his family, but also to the broader conservative movement in America. Beyond politics, many highlighted the human side of Charlie Kirk, the son who called his parents regularly, the young man who valued faith, and the friend who offered encouragement to those around him. These stories painted a fuller picture of a man whose public life often overshadowed his private one. For his mother, the journey ahead will be marked by absence and memory. The image of her collapsing at his grave remains etched in the minds of all who witnessed it, a symbol of a mother's love and the unbearable pain of losing a child. Her words, "Bring my son back," captured the essence of grief, a longing for what can never be returned. The legacy of Charlie Kirk, however, will continue. Turning Point USA remains active, carrying forward the mission he began at just 18. His writings, speeches, and recorded debates will serve as reminders of his passion and vision. More importantly, the countless young people he inspired will carry forward the ideas he championed. In the end, Charlie Kirk's story is one of ambition, influence, and untimely loss. His life was brief but impactful, leaving behind a mark that cannot be erased. His funeral, with its moments of deep sorrow and heartfelt tributes, reflected both the achievements of a public figure and the grief of a family robbed of their son. As his mother continues to mourn, her plea, "Bring my son back," will echo as a lasting expression of love, loss, and the human side of a man whose life was often seen only through the lens of politics. In the days following the funeral, many close family friends visited the Kirk household, offering meals, prayers, and quiet companionship. For his mother, every corner of the home carried memories of Charlie, from the chair where he used to sit with his laptop, to the family dining table where conversations often turned into spirited debates about faith and politics. The silence of those spaces now serves as a constant reminder of what has been lost. His mother's grief also resonated with parents across the country who followed Charlie's work. Many wrote open letters and messages, acknowledging her pain and assuring her that her son's influence reached far beyond the political stage. They spoke of how Charlie inspired their children to think critically, to stand firm in their beliefs, and to find courage in expressing their convictions. These messages, though unable to heal her sorrow, served as a testament to the far-reaching impact of her son's mission. Political allies also stepped forward with tributes. Former colleagues described Charlie as tireless, disciplined, and unshakable in his vision. Some noted how, even in his final year, he was actively planning new initiatives and expanding programs for students. His ability to stay connected to grassroots activists while engaging in national conversations was described as one of his greatest strengths. For many, his passing leaves not only a personal void, but also a strategic gap in the conservative movement. The fictionalized but deeply human moment of his mother collapsing at the grave continues to symbolize the broader emotional weight of the tragedy. It became a focal point of news coverage and online discussions, with people expressing empathy and sharing stories of their own personal losses. The phrase, "Bring my son back," trended for several days, not only as a cry of grief, but also as a reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who seem unstoppable. Charlie Kirk lived with passion, worked with determination, and departed far too soon. He will be remembered not only for his public work, but also for the family who loved him deeply. His mother's collapse at the grave remains a haunting reminder that behind every public figure lies a family who feels the loss most profoundly. And so, as friends, family, and supporters look back on his journey, one truth stands clear. Charlie Kirk's story may have ended too soon, but his influence and the love of those closest to him will remain. His mother's cry at his grave encapsulates the tragedy of his passing, a reminder that every life, no matter how public, is first and foremost a life cherished by family.